We are Chris and Cherie.
We are, yes.
Of Technomadia. And we have been full-time RVers for now going on 8 years. And we have been couple for going on 8 years.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, long time. Wow.
So our entire relationship has been on the road. For those who don't know the story, we're going to give you a brief recap.
Okay, so over 8 years ago, in April 2006, I hit the road. The last thing I expected to find living on the road was somebody who wanted to share my life with me and travel with me. I thought that would be something I'd be putting on hold while I pursued my travel ambitions. And so the biggest surprise of my first year on the road was meeting Cherie, and having her say, "Hey, I'll sell my house and move in with you." And I was like, "Oh," and in with me at the time consisted of...
So, at the time, he had this trailer. It's a 16-foot tab teardrop with a kitchen out the back. It was about 45 square feet of living space. It had no refrigerator, no air conditioner, and no bathroom. And yes...
But it had the important things. I'd already installed solar panels and upgraded the electrical, and I had a built-in Wi-Fi network and a sound system that was tied to the Wi-Fi network that I could play controllable music wirelessly and all these great things. This was 8 years ago. And mobile internet and all the fun tech stuff. I mean, who needs a refrigerator? It just, it just takes the power from your solar panels, and you need to dedicate that power to your computers. And so here she wants to move in.
So thankfully, I'm geeky enough to appreciate those, and we had enough new relationship energy going that we were able to do. We did about a year on the road in that together, managing as a couple. Inside, it had it was either a dinette or a bed. So we're constantly converting it back and forth. We were working on the road back then together. We're not only learning how to be a couple, we were learning how to be business partners, life partners, and traveling companions all at the same time. And so we learned some things about each other during that first year as a couple. I mean, a lot, because it was...
Oh, yeah, we're still getting to know each other, too.
The first thing we discovered is that we work very differently. He likes to work in long, intense bursts. He likes to work overnight. He likes to kind of go to bed when he's on an intense project. He likes to go to bed when the sun is rising. I like to kind of schedule my projects out. I keep on top of them, keep a nice, sane pace. He does better under intensity. So we had to adjust for that because we were finding I would end up sleeping on the floor because he was up still working. And
it was kind of
there's no floor.
It was kind of sweet the first time, Cherie curled up at my feet, keeping them warm while I'm working away at the table and everything. But that doesn't, it was sweet the first time. The second time it's like, we need something bigger.
So we thought what we needed next. We still wanted the small trailer because we liked being able to go down little tiny roads. We like being able to cross creeks. We like being able to talk into friends' houses in downtown urban areas. We like being able to go into small places.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to stay small. We still wanted to pull with our Jeep Liberty. So we went with the second vehicle that you see here, and that's an Oliver travel trailer. It's similar to the Casita that you might be familiar with, or the Scamp. It's a 17-foot fiberglass trailer. And
it had everything.
Let's see. I actually have pictures in this book.
Pictures have been built in this book.
Yes, I do.
But yeah, so the Oliver was everything the Tab was not. So it had a separate enclosed bathroom with shower. It had a hot water heater. Had big giant tanks bigger than most large RVs even. Had a separate dinette that we kept down all the time, a 4-person dinette that we kept as a bed.
And then a 2-person one on the side that we could work from.
That we could keep as a desk all the time. The kitchen was inside as opposed to outside, which was a nice improvement, particularly in cold.
And it had a bathroom. It had a full wet bath inside with a toilet and a shower that extended out.
And it still had all the geeky stuff. So we actually designed in 200 watts of solar on the roof, a cell phone booster, extended batteries, and made it a teched-out home as well. So that was a much more comfortable place for the two of us, and then we added a third.
Well, yeah, we did 3 years in the Oliver, and then we got a cat.
Yes.
Sitting over there watching
us, supervising.
Yes, you can see her over there.
Yeah, there she is.
Yes. So yeah, we did 3 years in the Oliver, living in basically it's 17 foot long, so it wasn't really huge, but it did give us the ability. I could go to bed while he was still up working.
we actually devised a curtain system to cut the living room in half, or to cut the inside in half. I don't think we have pictures of the curtains, do we?
No, not
But yeah, that's just held up with suction cups so that it can be dark in the bed and still some light on the desk area. And that worked quite wonderfully. We had a big heavy drape we would hang across.
Yep. So 3 years we did that. It was really great. And then we were getting more work projects. We were spending more time working and doing development projects and working on more projects together. And we found that the little tiny side dinette was not really big enough for two of us to set up a laptop on and work from. So we parked the Oliver for a while. We actually moved over to the Virgin Islands for 5 months. That just didn't suck at all. And we had a little cottage. It was 400 square feet, so like a mansion for us. And we actually had a little dedicated desk there. And we'd say, you know what, in our next RV, if we're going to continue RVing, we were also contemplating we wanted to someday sail. So we were kind of going down the Virgin Islands to check out sailing. We decided our next RV, we had to have dedicated desk space. And for both of us, we wanted...
And proper chairs, because in the Oliver, Cherie would be sitting Indian style, using a zafu as a desk, and I'd be at this dinette that was designed for sitting for half an hour, this little two-person dinette that had about the back support of...
Here's a picture of me working in bed. This is how this was my office most of the time. It was not fun.
We had a big monitor hanging on the wall, though. Yeah, bonus there.
So that's when we got the bus that you see behind us. It's 35 feet. You can see, if you've never taken a tour of it, if you go to technomadia.com/Zephyr is the name of the bus. It's also up there on the About Us menu on our blog. You can get a tour of it, but we took out the dinette that came in it and made a two-person desk in it. We each have 30-inch screens.
Monitors.
We have real office chairs in there. It's super comfortable for us. And more importantly, we now have 2 rooms.
Yes. 3.
Well, 3, depending upon how you set it up. But the bedroom has a door to it, so when I'm ready to go to bed, I can go back in there. I can go and stream my Star Trek, because that's what I do. And then he can stay up late working on stuff, and that's worked really well on the projects that we do, because we just really found a great pattern when we're working on a project of he'll stay up late working overnight, we'll get some cuddles when he comes to bed, and then
I leave her notes of where I left off, and then she comes up in the morning, and then we get together in the afternoon and go over it together. Yeah. So it works out really, really nice.
So that's what we do when we're working. That's given us a good amount of alone time. I can go back and maybe I read a book or something like that. Then in the morning, he gets time to himself while I'm working.
I like to read the virtual newspaper in bed in the morning, and so that's, I hang out and do all my morning reading in bed while she's up in the front office working away. Yes.
So when you're traveling as a couple, so what we're going to by telling you about the 3 different RVs that we've been on. Oh, I got a bug on my forehead. Is the layout of your RV is going to kind of give you that is going to really determine how you need to cope as a couple in the RV and what type of space you have for how you manage. If you go to bed and wake up at the same time, you might not need the separation of space. We've, over the years, have found it pretty essential. Yeah. Because we do have slightly offset sleep schedules. So that really helps us. Oh, there's a chipmunk teasing Kiki.
Oh.
See? Yeah, there's a stand-up.
We might see some hunting action here.
Oh, boy. So the layout, really think about it when you're looking at your RVs. Just really think about what day-to-day life is going to be like. And we do have another video chat plan where we will talk about selecting a full-time RV, so we'll go into that at a different time. But really think about how you function as a couple. If you've never lived together 24/7 in a small space with your partner, you're going to be going through an adjustment from, like, maybe you both are used to working in offices, and then now you're going to be traveling together, so you're going to be going through an adjustment phase. And in many ways, it won't be much different than having a new relationship. Yeah. And forming a new relationship with each other and learning how to function together in a small space. Let's see. Oh gosh, like I said, we're brain dead. We just came off a 5-hour drive. So,
yeah. So that is actually kind of introduces one of the main tips is leave time for each other to be brain dead. There will be days where your partner is screwing everything up, and yelling at them at the time when
it's not going to help.
It's like, okay, You're brain dead. You just went back into a sign. Yeah, we'll talk about this later. Right now, I need to help you navigate off the sign and into the camp spot. And, just learning to take deep breaths and learning to put off the tension, because you really don't have a place to necessarily get away from each other in the moment. You have to plan for that.
And you're a team
Yeah.
when you're on the road together. You're each other's, and you're more than likely not going to know anybody else. No
Yeah.
other campers are going to come out and help you pull in usually. Yeah. You're on your own. You've got each other. Getting mad at each other on the road is not going to solve anything. Working together as a team and then talking it out and how you can improve things in the future works well. I think and there's at the bottom of the page, if you're watching this on our website, the technomadia.com site, at the bottom underneath I've got a link to Nick Russell's blog. He recently did a post called RVing Together, or it's TWO Gather. And I really love that post because what he surmises and what really works for us and what's worked for the other couples that we know who have been successful on the road together is love is great. Love is love. But especially in partnership in life, partnership in business, you have to like each other.
And particularly in small spaces, which RVs tend to be.
And like is a very, very important. If you don't like your partner, you're probably going to run into a lot more problems. We work together as a team, and there's days that we each are grouchy, and we just have to give each other a little more space.
Yeah. So how do we give each other space? What do we do?
Assuming we're not on the road or we're not trying to get out of a predicament, one of us might go for a walk while the other one stays at home and gets alone time. Yep. Sometimes I might send you out to do errands.
Yep. Yes, or I'll volunteer. Let me get out of here, please. Can I go do some errands? Cherie is much more of an introvert homebody than I am, so she really needs her home time when she's needing to recharge, and I often need that too. But she really needs it, so I can go out and sometimes actually what we do is particularly if I've got tech work to do and I need Wi-Fi, is I'll go in and I'll find a library and I'll just go set up in the back corner of a library and do a full 8-hour day off, and that way we really get to recharge separately. And by the end of the day, we're chatting back and forth.
We're usually still chatting, text messaging each other all day long.
But it's just good to have that little bit of breather break.
Right. Having a vehicle. So I know some couples, they choose to go with just like a single motorhome and not have a other form of transportation. That can make it more difficult to balance. We really like we have the Mini Cooper that we tow behind the bus. So that means that one of us can park in the RV and be at home, and the other one can go off and do errands further away.
Yep.
So that really helps. It also helps for us to take little vacations from each other. If I've got a job site I need to be on for one of my clients, I might go out on my own and do that and give him time at home. We love that. Like if one of us might drive ahead sometimes to our next destination, especially if we're meeting up with a friend or a family member or something like that. So one of us might drive ahead so we get there a day or two in advance and get time together because we can drive.
We've really done that,
but that's one of the reasons why we have
to have.
And there was like when we got the Mini, I actually flew out to Vegas and did a 4-day road trip, bringing it back to St. Louis where he was parked. So you got time with your parents, and I got time on the road on my own.
You got to learn how to drive a stick.
I had never driven a stick before, so I got to learn how to drive a stick on my own. So that was really, really fun. Other tips and strategies for being a couple on the road. Division of labor.
Division of labor.
Yeah, I mean, there's setup and breakdown routines that you go through. Talk with each other who's going to do what, and make sure you also know each other's stuff, because if he's feeling ill or is stressed, I might be the one that needs to go and take over his stuff and fill in for him. We also double check each other. We help each other. We try not to be accusational.
Don't be grouchy. Somebody's like, oh, you forgot to latch the bathroom cabinet, and
not that I ever do that. I only do that every other time.
The bathroom cabinet, and the first stop, all the stuff falls out of the cabinet, and it's So I always double check that one, and there's just keeping eyes, and particularly you're moving a big rig, and safety is important, and it's checklists are good, but things get missed, and you can never have too many eyes on anything.
Right. Another point is also balancing each other's interests. I mean, there might be times where he's craving being somewhere with hiking trails, and I want to be somewhere close to friends, maybe, whatever the differences are. Is you're going to have to balance sometimes and keep each other's varying needs in mind. Particularly our first year on the road, you were already studying out. He's a paramotorist, right. So he has like this kite thing that he puts over him, and he straps a lawnmower to his back and flies through the air and stuff like that. So a lot of his first year on the road was wanting to go to spots where he could jump off cliffs and stuff. And that just started to lead to some resentments for me, because we're always going to do the things he wanted to do. And it left me feeling like my desires and needs weren't being planned into. So we had to start just thinking about, okay, what are the things that I want to do? The people that I want to see. Maybe I wanted to route to go see a friend, and we would just work. We just work out the route. We maybe each will kind of come up with our dream route for the year, or the things we want to do for the year, and talk them out and mesh them together.
That's basically it.
And
then really what it comes down to is having a cat, and then the cat makes all the final decisions.
Yes. Oh, and blame everything on the cat.
Oh,
that helps so much.
Yes. Did you break that? No, the cat did it.
The cat did it. Okay, the cat did it. We are open to questions, so please go ahead and type in any questions that you have. If you have them about traveling as a couple, that's great. On topic, if we run out of those, and we'll be happy to answer a few more. We're probably going to try to keep this one a little short, just because we literally just pulled in.
Yeah.
And we've had a long day on the road, and we have a lot of work to do tonight too. We're in the middle of launching the mobile internet handbook and the new membership site, and
RVmobileinternet.com.
Yes, go check out RVmobileinternet.com. It's kind of soft launched right now.
Yep.
I'm going to scroll back and see if there's any questions already on here. Excuse my finger if you see it go over the video. Someone did ask how far in ahead do we plan where we head to, and how do we select who wants to go east and wants to... Oh, we kind of answered that.
Who wants to go east and the other west? Wow.
We actually have encountered that sometimes. Yeah, we just...
But, a lot of our travel plans we do just on the spur of the moment with, like, a general goal. So, like, right now, we had a goal of we're hosting the Lighthouse in Oregon again, so be at the Lighthouse by September 1st. And we wanted to swing through Billings to have our engine checked over while we're still under our 1-year warranty from our adventures last summer. So we've been cutting across the country and now going through North Dakota right now to get to Billings on time. But the day-to-day stuff, I've been figuring it out, one day at a time. It's like, hey, this road looks good, and here's an interesting stop to make sure we try and see. So today we went and saw nuclear missiles. And
we did see the missiles. We saw the launch center. It was really interesting.
Yeah, we got to go 60 feet underground into a big giant shock absorber, airtight tube, where there was little keys that they turned to blow up the world. It was really kind of sobering and intense, and made for a nice stop midway through the day.
Cool.
What other questions we got coming up
here? So someone asked, do we plan to get married? They know they've been together for 8 years, and no, we do not.
No, we got rings.
We are committed. We have had a commitment ceremony. We have gone through all the legal stuff to get all the paperwork done, but we don't necessarily believe that the marriage institution is the right one for us.
Yeah. Nothing that we have against it either.
Yeah,
it's just we do our own thing.
We believe, it's just not for us. Do you see the advantage of cats to dogs as traveling companions?
We're cat people.
We are cat people.
But we love other people's dogs.
Yes. I do know that cats are a little more flexible. They're more independent. We could actually, if we're going to be out late or we're going to go off touring or maybe even overnight, like sometimes we might park the bus and then drive a couple hours to go visit family or something like that and stay overnight with them. We don't feel bad about leaving Kiki overnight on her own.
Yeah, she likes it. She gets some private time that way.
At least we think that she likes it.
Yeah, no, she usually does.
But yeah, then we just noticed when we're traveling with our friends who have dogs is they're very oriented around scheduling around their dogs' needs and when they need to go outside and get their walks and things like that. Which is, if that's your priority, that's great. And dogs definitely. I love dogs.
And they give you dogs give you a lot of structure, and actually they're a great social opener. People come up and talk to us when we're walking the cat. But we're walking the cat, we don't get very far. When you have a dog to walk, you can go out and explore, and it's a great way to meet your neighbors, and it's a great way to get exercise, and dogs love to be out on adventures, and cats love to hang out at home. So,
someone asked, who cooks the meals so we go back and forth?
I cooked dinner last night.
You did cook dinner last night.
She cooks most of the nights.
I do cook most of the time. And actually, when I met him, I didn't like cooking. That's the ironic thing. Why do I cook most of the time?
You've learned to like cooking.
I actually have learned to like enjoy cooking.
You have to be creative and such.
But he's a decent cook.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's me who gets hungry, and I'm the one who'll do something about it. He'll sit there and be hungry for like 3 days before he does something about it. So I'm usually the one say, I'm hungry, I need to eat, I'm cooking, here, eat.
And also when it's on driving days and stuff, since I do 99.9775% of the driving.
I drove yesterday, 2 feet.
Yes, she did. She pulled out of the spot. But so we do the driving day, and so I'm having a little recovery time while she puts dinner together, and so that tends to go hand in hand. But and we both enjoy cooking. She just tends to do more of it.
Yeah, you do more of if we're doing a chili or
chilies, salsas, and guacs.
Those are those are things you love to do.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say it's about. I'd probably do 80% of the cooking, and you do 20.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. The litter box. A lot of questions about the cat. Well, let's save those. Let's try to focus on the couple stuff first.
Cooking to cats.
And
we never cook the cat.
We never cook the cat.
We sometimes cook for the cat.
Lots of off-topic questions. So, are we done with? Are you guys done asking questions about traveling as a couple, or do you want to go ahead and switch? Sounds like you all are asking general questions now, which is fine.
We are happy to answer.
So we're going to switch to answering those. And if you do have questions about traveling as a couple, we'll go ahead and go back to those, but this will be open question now.
Where is the litter box in the rig?
The litter box, we actually are discovering something right now. We usually keep it right underneath the driver's seat.
Not while I'm driving.
Not while driving, but when we're still. And this week we're making miles every single day. And so we're actually putting it in the bathtub on top of a mat so the litter doesn't go down the drain, so that we're not moving it as much in and out. And that seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah, it does. We have to now move it to take a shower, but it's not moving it to drive. And eventually we have a long-term hope of when we replace our water heater with a hydronic system to use the space where the water heater used to be to have a hidden litter box chamber that could be emptied and changed from outside the bus using the old hatch where the water heater used to go.
And then another question about Kiki is we actually picked Kiki up as a kitten during our second year on the road.
Yep.
She's been with us.
She's been with us her entire life, basically.
Yeah, so she's been raised on the road, and she's indoor, outdoor, but on a leash always.
Yep.
Does your state lines app cover any pet laws that might be applicable? I don't really know of any pet laws that are really applicable that change. We do have leash laws by state, but so many of the laws with pets are locally based, so it's not really applicable to the app. Did you consider a toy hauler for the extra space in the garage? No. We don't need extra space. Remember we came from... This is extra space.
Although we used to... we got a picture of the Jeep, how we used to have that stacked up in here.
I don't think I have one of the Jeep in here.
Yes. So we used to have the Jeep with a cargo rack on the roof. So we had quite a few toys, like the landing gear for the paramotor up on top of the Jeep, piled high. But when we were in such a small space, the back of the Jeep and then the back of the truck we had after that was the garage. And now we've got huge bays under the bus that we really have no shortage of space. I guess the one thing it would be nice to have space that we can keep full-size bicycles assembled inside, because bikes age very, very rapidly outside, and folding bikes we haven't found a chance to really test drive and find one we really like. But we have the space. It's just not big space. You have to have something that could fold.
So there's a lot of questions about who does what in the bus. That's really, it's not really interesting for you to know who does what in our household, because that's only relevant to us. You've got to talk with your partner about what makes sense, who does what, and just make sure that you're not defaulting to roles and that you're consciously choosing what you want to do. That's the important part, so you don't lead to resentments. I don't really think it's even interesting about who does what. How long do you drive at one time? It really depends. We varied it up. There's no normal in our life. Right now we're doing about 4 to 5 hour days.
Yeah.
But last month we did 40-minute days.
Those were harsh. Yeah.
How do you prepare for serious weather?
We do have some apps that do weather alerts that will automatically go off. When we don't have signal where the apps will trigger, we have a weather alert radio that we set up. And
just keep aware of your local surroundings. We check weather forecasts. When we pull into a campground, we make sure we know if especially if there's inclement weather, we know where their shelter's at. Usually it's the bathhouse or the laundry room, and we just keep aware.
And just basically keep the awnings in if we're in any risk of having high winds, because that's the bus is designed for highway speed winds. It's designed for 80, 90, even more wind against it. It's just things blowing in the wind, and awnings will be the bad thing.
Someone asked, how do you get privacy in an RV park? It seems you would be heard or be heard. And yes, that is one of the things that we don't like about RV parks. We do try to find spaces that have big spaces so you get a little more privacy. We like ones with trees around us, so visual and as much sound privacy as possible. That's why a lot of people choose boondocking and going out into the wilds, so you can have miles between you and somebody else, which is really great.
And you just make it work. It's some days you just make it a challenge to be quiet.
Yes. I think an interesting topic show one day, and maybe we'll do it if we can get brave enough, is sex in an RV and sex on the road would be a very fun topic, I think.
Make that pay-per-view?
That one might be the pay-per-view one, yeah. Okay, how long have you spent in one place? Longest? It's probably Florida, when my dad was passing away. So we would spend months. We would spend 2 to 3 months at a time to be near him and help my mom out with his care.
We did San Francisco also. We had a work contract, and we had a multi-month spot there once.
Yeah, but a lot of that was also tourist. We don't tend to. 2 months is about we start to get really itchy to move. Actually, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll be staying 2 weeks out at Cape Blanco Lighthouse. Sorry, 2 months. Sorry.
Long day, tired.
We'll be at 2 months, September and October, at Cape Blanco in Oregon, hosting out there at a lighthouse. So we'll see how we do this year.
Yeah.
So
but 6 weeks.
6 weeks is when we get itchy. So
that's why we are really reluctant to take traditional work camping jobs that want season-long commitments or 6-month commitments, because 6 months in one place? No, that's not why I live on the road.
Someone asked, do we stay in touch with the people who bought the Tab and Oliver? You communicate with the guy who bought the Oliver pretty regularly.
It's been several years since we've heard from the people who bought the Tab, but we did keep in touch for a while.
And we did stop by and see the Tab, and we've seen both of them since, so that's been really cool.
And actually, just a few weeks ago, I got a text message from the guy who bought the Oliver showing me some pictures of it, so it's always great to see our baby out living in the world.
To what extent are you able to adhere to your yearly travel plans as full-timers? What the hell is a travel plan? We don't have travel plans.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard to adhere to something that you don't have.
We kind of look at the hurricane forecast, where it's the 10% chance of this and the 70% chance of this, and right now we're our forecast has a sort of likely heading towards the southwest, but if the conditions are right, we might swing all the way back to Florida. Who knows? Come this coming winter, and next year that's completely unpredictable.
Someone asked, you noticed that we work in shift. Is that intentional? Yes, it is intentional. We did talk about that earlier. So if you want to hear more about why we do that, you can go watch.
I think they're just commenting from that of that it's accidental that we both have that offset schedules, but it works out as almost a superpower for us when we're trying to get big intense projects done.
It allows us to pull 18-hour days and each get sleep.
Yes, exactly.
And to get focused time on our own, working on it, working together, and then so it just works out really well for us. Boondocking with solar panel, that's a big topic, so that's going to have to be its own chat.
We are just now diving into what we're going to be doing a whole lot of stuff with solar. We're actually getting a setup that we'll be able to test and compare different panels. And so there will be probably several video chats on solar and lots of articles and stuff coming up. We'll probably kick it off with an article in the next month, I'm guessing. Right, yeah. So we do have a couple solar panels in that we'll be testing. We got more coming in. They're all flexible because we want to maintain the roof line. So go to technomadia.com/solar, and you can track. The beginning of the project is you can track that.
And yeah, we'll be having special chats just on the solar. So don't worry about that. We'll be talking about that soon.
As soon as we get the book done, that's the next project.
Yes, focus is on mobile internet right now and getting that launched. So I'm going to ask how old we are. You're 41, and I will be 41 next Monday. So I have 1 week left of being 40. So, are there any other questions?
Which actually, that does bring up another couples thing.
Oh.
Really hard to do surprises when you're living in a small space together all the time.
Yeah, gift giving is really difficult because you're going to know. And you did surprise me once, though.
With the Oliver. Had that too.
You had the Oliver sales guy have a cake waiting for us when we picked it up.
Yes.
But there was the time that you actually planned like a scavenger hunt across the city that we were in. Yeah. He planned all these hints and stuff. Then we got to one location. I'd have to kind of riddle out what the next place was we went to, and I think we ended up going to a nice restaurant for dinner, and then you had tickets to a show for us.
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
So,
yeah, it was a scavenger hunt. It got us exploring town together. He did research on it. It was really super sweet. What's your best advice for reducing travel expenses?
Drive slower. I mean, like
slower pace.
Cut fewer miles. Stay a week at a time, at least. If you pay so much more when you're paying daily rates. If you look for weekly rates or monthly rates, your fuel costs go way down and your lodging costs go way down. It becomes a fraction of otherwise.
There's chipmunks teething.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So go slower. And use discounts and clubs and things like that. We do have a cost log. If you go to technomadia.com/cost log, we have recorded our expenses on the road. I think since 2009, I think I started the journal, and we do show what our travel expenses have been every single month and list a whole bunch of information about that. So feel free to go look at that. Someone was asking about the photo book. This is
the first 3 years together.
We've only did this for the first 3 years because it was a lot of work to put them together. But it's just a spiral-bound photo book. We use iPhoto to manage our photos, and you can just make these right within, and then Apple prints them. But we started doing these as years in reviews for our families as Christmas gifts, and then we ordered an extra copy for us. So these are super handy to give to people when they come in. They want to know about our life on the road. Yeah, so it beats us telling the story over and over again.
Well, it's just a very convenient, easy way to have pictures with us that tell the story.
Someone says, would we recommend starting with a small RV as we did as a means of learning what is needed? The idea of buying a cheap 30 to 40-foot RV does not seem right either. There is no right answer to that at all.
But, I guess the one wrong answer is...
Don't go buy a brand new RV.
Don't go buy a brand new RV and blow your budget on something as your first one. Assume that whatever you start with, after a year or two, you will have completely different ideas about what you want to continue on with. So don't go into debt and don't get way too tied to something that was top dollar and way underwater and depreciated. So if that means getting something small and cheap just so that you learn what works and what doesn't work for you, do it. And then know that this is temporary and you'll be able to upgrade or downgrade.
That's probably the best advice that I can come up with. Other than that, you will not know what life is like on the road for you and what style of travel you like best until you're out there doing it for a while. The first 2 or 3 months are going to be more like an extended vacation. Yep. It's not until you get into a routine or lack of routine, and you really know how you like to travel. And that's also, give it a year. Give it a year.
And particularly give it that much time to find your rhythm as a couple too, because there's just so much stuff that just needs to how you mesh together isn't going to necessarily click on day 1 or day 10 or day 50. It takes quite a while to get into a rhythm of living together on the road in a small space. So give yourself time both to get used to the rig that you have and to get used to each other and how you work. And nobody's wrong, during that process.
Compared to so we did I think we were in the tab for about 3 months, the first RV together.
And we had a lot of trial runs.
We did trial runs before we hit the road to see if we could actually survive as a new couple. And then after we're on the road together for about 3 months, we said, we want to do this, but this isn't working. We actually sat down and just made a list of the things that weren't working about it. And we went then and started looking at other RVs that we thought would be it and just compared notes with each other. What do you like about this? What do you don't? We'd sit them, we'd say, is this going to feel right? And then we did the same thing with the Oliver after about a year or two in. And just started dreaming, well, what would we do next? And starting like that. So
And the interesting thing is we haven't been having those feelings with the bus at all, really.
Yeah, we actually talked about that last night as what would we change about the bus? And, because usually the last...
After we did get like a 2 or 3 year itch, and of like we're ready for something, a new house.
So when we bought the bus, we honestly thought it might be a 2 or 3 year thing. We might want to, move on to something different. We're completely happy. We did it right. We found the right balance for now.
Yeah, for now.
And don't, just because we're no longer in the Tab or the Oliver doesn't mean they were wrong.
Right, they were perfect.
They were perfect for that time in our travels. We traveled very differently in the first years on the road, and you will too, more than likely. Be adaptable. Leave yourself the space to adapt with your RV. And we will be doing a special chat just on picking a full-time RV, so we won't go into too much depth with that. Let's see what. Someone asked how big our solar system is and how often do we use it. We don't have a solar system yet. We're just starting to build it.
We're going to be. We've had solar on the prior 2 rigs, and we are now going to be documenting our whole big project of doing it on the bus and evaluating all the possible contenders. But we know solar very, very well. We've designed it ourselves for the prior 2 rigs. We just have delayed doing it on the bus until now. So this will be a new adventure for us. Yes.
What one piece of advice would you give to a couple who are making the transition from static to full-time? So, like we started, our whole relationship has been on the road, so...
We didn't have a transition.
We didn't have a transition, so it's really hard for us to give advice on something that we've not personally experienced. I don't even know what I would advise. Talk, communicate.
And take a lot of deep breaths and realize that it's all in flux and it's all changing, and you will completely piss each other off plenty of times along the way, and know that in advance and expect it.
Let's see. Do you plan on stopping at Spring Creek Trout Ranch after Billings? Such a great spot. But we did love that after Billings last year after the engine rebuild.
I think this year we'll be going a different route towards Glacier.
So that would be going out to Bozeman and Butte, and I think we're going to Glacier, so we're going to go up the East Glacier and over. So we probably won't be routing that way this time.
But it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Highly recommend that RV park. It was delightful. Have we written any blogs on making the most of confined spaces for storage? I don't know that we ever did. So when we first started blogging, especially in the first years on the smaller RVs, it was more travel logs. We didn't really start writing a lot of the how-tos.
I think isn't there something about storage in the No Excuses, though? Like living in small space? I think we did a little bit of that. Yeah,
check the No Excuses series. There's probably some in there, especially in the purging your stuff. The storage, we don't really give storage advice because it's so particular to your RV and how you travel and stuff like that.
I mean, maybe that might be an interesting future subject. We'll think about it if we can.
I do have an article on assembling a wardrobe for RVing that was published. That's in the featured posts right now that you can go look at. After living in your rig, would you get another big rig?
Define big. 35 foot feels like a great size. I get horrified at the idea of a 45 footer though. It's so that would be a big rig right now. The large RVs are 45 feet and a whole 6 inches wider than what we have now, plus slides.
We walk into some of the larger ones than what we have, and there's some really we get space envy. We can't host as many people, but we're really.
But I can still maneuver in a parking lot fairly well and turn around in relatively tight quarters with a 35-foot
And we have more options for RV parks. I mean, there's been times when we've been able to score the waterfront spot because we're 35 and our friends were 40 and they couldn't.
And there have been also plenty of times that I do miss, particularly I miss the tab because the tab could go anywhere. I mean, you could move it by hand. It was so small and light that you can park it someplace and spin it around just to angle it for the perfect view. And so, there's compromises and trade-offs with every size rig. Right now, we really find the 35-foot narrow body is a great sweet spot for us. I definitely don't crave bigger.
So someone's asked, do you foresee a time when we'll want to leave the road, and how will you know?
And they'll hit the water, maybe.
We are considering doing water explorations. We would like to do more international travel. We would like to go take apartments and stuff around the world and live in foreign cities for a while. Well, we've always said we don't have a goal, or it's just listening.
Keep doing what feels right.
Do what feels right. We'll know. We just trust. We'll know, and we'll know. Yeah.
There's
what has been your worst experience, stressful, and what did you learn? Oh, gosh.
Best and worst experience? What has been your best, worst? No, just worst experience.
What's been your worst experience, the most stressful?
Well, I guess, in some ways, going through the engine rebuild last year was a major stressful experience. I mean,
we got through it though.
Oh yeah, we got through it. I mean, yeah, just.
I mean, life happens on the road.
Life happens on the road
sometimes. So we've gone through a parent passing away and being there with them. That's a major life thing. What we learned is having this lifestyle and being able to pull in with our house.
And be able to be there.
And actually be there and not have to take time off of work and arrange for people to cut the lawn and all that other stuff that comes along with it. That's what we learned is this lifestyle really allows you to be there for the people that you love when you want to be. As far as stressful things like, engines breaking down and having to go through a rebuild, breakdowns on the side of the road, you just learn that the biggest lesson I've learned is I always remember every bad thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And I remember what it feels like now to look back on those experiences. We got through them. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm happy. I'm going to get through this one too.
Yeah. And when Cherie is melting down, I remember that.
Give me water.
Give her water and hydration and 24 hours, and just try not to let her break anything during that span of time, because she'll process through it and be sane again. Yeah. But it's like, okay, the tension of the moment. Any one of us might have a breakdown, and we all break down in different ways. Don't expect your partner is going to break down the same ways that you do. But everybody goes through their own different breakdown process, and that's allowed to happen. There's nothing wrong with that happening. Do whatever it takes to get through it. Getting outside and going for walks and getting away from any sort of outside stimulus is what really works for me. It's like I just need to go walk and motion, away from computers, away from anything like that. That's how I can process through stuff when I'm really stressed out.
And usually when I need to write.
Yeah.
I need to go and journal and just get it out, get the words out privately or whatnot.
Yeah.
So sometimes, if we've gone through something stressful, he'll sometimes want me to go for a walk with him and process with him on it. It's like, no, I got to get the thoughts out of my head.
As long as you're not getting those thoughts onto like ripping somebody's head off.
Yes.
Yes.
So sometimes he'll go take a walk. Right. I'll go process it. It may not be that we're upset with each other.
Actually, we're almost always stressed at different times too.
Yeah.
Right.
In different ways.
Yep.
So, you just learn. You
Yeah.
learn. So how many hours per week do we actually work on average? There's no such thing as averages in our life. Learn that.
Yeah, we've managed a lot of times to do actually probably literally a 4-hour work week sometimes, and then other times we've got 90-hour work weeks.
So for the last 2 months working on the book and launching the new resource center, we literally have been working 9 to 5, 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. Although we've cut back a little bit this last week.
Yeah, we handed it off to the editor.
She sent it back to us today.
We got to finish it now.
Ugh. Okay. I was hoping we'd have another week.
And you work too fast if you're out there.
When we're on a project, we work really long hours. And to get it done.
Yeah. And then when we're off a project, then we
go and maintenance. Now it'll be interesting now with the mobile internet aficionados.
We're going to be keeping up a membership site.
The new premium membership site. We're going to
that's spending a little bit of time on that all the time.
That's going to take a little bit of time every single week, and that'll be new for us.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Let's see. I think we've covered everything. Those are just follow-ons.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. If you're looking for the RVing, the wardrobe one, it's one of the featured posts on the blog. Yes, we've done going to the Sun Road before.
Yes, going to the Sun Road, awesome. Not with the bus, though.
Not with the bus. We do that in the Mini.
Yes. We wish we had a convertible.
We've been blabbering on for about 50 minutes now. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
We'll give you one more chance to look at the view and the lights.
Let's see if we can go show you.
We'll take you up to see beautiful Lake Sacagawea and the Garrison Dam. This is the 3rd largest man-made lake in the United States, and it is stunningly beautiful. And this is the 5th largest filled earth dam on Earth, I believe. I like to look up civil engineering geek stuff.
So this is our current view.
Right out the front.
So we're going to leave you guys. and we're going to go and we'll get some walking in because we have literally been on the road all day long, and we're ready to relax because it's been a very, very long couple of weeks.
There's some wine chilling and a walk waiting for us.
Yes. So thank you for joining us this evening. We really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed these chats, we do have a donate button. Donations are accepted but not expected, but we definitely do appreciate them. They help keep us motivated that you're listening and enjoying these chats. These do take time, and they take technology, they take our bandwidth. So all things we have to pay for to keep doing this. And just say also, just post comments on the blog and just say, hey, you're reading and you like this and you enjoy what we do, because that also inspires us. So keep it going in one way or the other. Yes. So good night. We'll talk to you next month.